It was a calm morning on Earth when the first signs of something extraordinary appeared in the sky. Early risers in different parts of the world noticed strange, shimmering lights far beyond the clouds, far beyond the stars. No one knew what it was at first. Was it a comet, a new satellite, or something even more mysterious? But as the hours passed, it became clear it was not something from Earth. A massive fleet of ships, each one larger than any structure ever built on Earth, began to take shape in the sky. The ships were sleek and metallic, their designs unlike anything humanity had ever seen. The world watched in stunned silence as these ships slowly encircled the Earth, hovering far above the atmosphere. The entire planet held its breath. The ships belonged to the Galactic Empire, a mysterious and powerful interstellar government. These beings were not from any world humanity had ever heard of. Their fleet had traveled across the stars to reach Earth. Their mission: to establish a trade route and claim new resources. At first, no one knew who they were. The ships didn't make a sound. They didn't approach the planet with weapons drawn. Instead, they hovered above Earth like silent giants, waiting. Earth's global communications networks were flooded with strange signals. At first, they sounded like noise, but when translated, the message was clear. We are the Galactic Empire. We come to offer you trade. We seek resources from your world in exchange for advanced technologies that will elevate your civilization. Allow us safe passage to your planet. It was a request, but it carried an undeniable weight. The message was not a plea. It was a demand wrapped in politeness. The Galactic Empire had conquered many worlds in their travels, and they were accustomed to getting what they wanted. They didn't expect resistance, especially from a planet like Earth. The leaders of Earth were immediately thrown into chaos. Meetings were held, security measures were activated, and military forces around the world were put on high alert. The Earth's United Front met in a closed session to discuss the situation. There was panic in the air. The world had never faced a threat like this before. Even though Earth had dealt with a few alien encounters in the past, nothing compared to the sheer power and size of the Galactic Empire's fleet. While the world's leaders debated, citizens were terrified. News spread across the globe. Strange ships, impossible ships, hovering over their cities. What did it mean? Would they be attacked? Would they be enslaved? Everyone had questions, and no one had answers. Despite the fear, Earth's leaders remained firm. They would not allow their planet to be taken without a fight. President Elena Martinez, the leader of Earth's united government, addressed the world through a global broadcast. Standing in front of a giant digital screen showing images of the alien fleet, she spoke clearly and decisively. The Galactic Empire may be powerful, but Earth will not bow to them. We will not let any outside force take control of our planet. Our sovereignty is non-negotiable. We will defend Earth with everything we have. No passage will be granted. Her words were firm, and the world rallied behind her. The people of Earth may have felt fear, but they were not willing to give up their planet without a fight. There was strength in unity. They had faced struggles before, and they had always come out stronger. This time would be no different. The Galactic Empire, watching from the stars, did not expect such a response. They had underestimated Earth. They had thought that humans would bend under the weight of their superior technology. But President Martinez's words echoed across the world, and the people of Earth began to prepare. The military, led by General Marcus Hawk, quickly organized defenses, not just on the ground, but in space as well. Satellites were repositioned, and military vessels were put on standby. The first phase of preparation was focused on gathering information. Earth's brightest scientists and engineers worked tirelessly to understand the alien technology. They studied the ships above them, trying to find weaknesses in the Empire's designs. Earth was not powerless. They might not have the technology of the Empire, but they had something that no alien race could ever take away: ingenuity. In the midst of all this, the Galactic Empire's representatives sent more messages, demanding access to Earth's resources. They claimed that the resources of Earth would fuel the Empire's expansion, and in return, they would share their knowledge with humanity. But again, Earth refused. The message from Earth's leaders was clear. We are not interested in your offers. Leave our planet. The Galactic Empire, accustomed to bending others to their will, now had to make a decision. Would they retreat, recognizing Earth's refusal? Or would they take further action? As the Empire waited in the silence of space, the people of Earth stood together, ready to defend their home. No one knew what would happen next, but one thing was certain. Earth was not going to be a passive player in the galaxy any longer. The stage was set. The days that followed Earth's firm refusal to the Galactic Empire were filled with tension. The entire planet seemed to be holding its breath, waiting for the next move. The giant fleet of alien ships continued to hover just beyond Earth's atmosphere, silent and unmoving. It was as if the Empire was waiting for Earth to change its mind, or perhaps to show signs of weakness. But Earth did not waver. The global leaders met again, this time in a secure underground command center, deep within a mountain range. Leaders from every corner of the planet gathered to discuss the future. There was no turning back now. The message from President Elena Martinez was clear. Earth would defend itself, no matter the cost. And the people of Earth stood behind her decision, united in their resolve. We cannot allow them to take what is ours, President Martinez said, her voice steady but firm. We must make it clear that Earth will not be conquered. General Marcus Hawk, head of Earth's military forces, spoke next. He had always been known for his calm and strategic mind, but even he couldn't ignore the gravity of the situation. The Galactic Empire's fleet is massive, but we have something they don't. Our people. We are not a conquered race. We will fight, and we will find a way to defend Earth. Outside the command center, Earth's cities were in a state of preparation. Governments around the world issued warnings, urging citizens to remain calm and prepare for any eventuality. Military bases were activated, and defense systems were put into place. While Earth's technology was no match for the Empire's advanced fleet, they had something else: ingenuity. Earth's scientists and engineers had worked tirelessly to improve the planet's defenses, hoping to level the playing field. Meanwhile, above the planet, the Galactic Empire's fleet remained still. Despite Earth's defiance, the Empire was unwilling to make the first move. The fleet's commander, Admiral Zarak, paced the command bridge of the lid ship. He was a tall, imposing figure, his alien features sharp and his eyes calculating. His years of service had taught him that patience was often the best course of action, but this situation was unlike any he had faced before. The humans have refused our offer, Admiral Zarak said, his voice cold. They do not understand the power we possess. We have given them a chance, and yet they insist on resistance. A member of his crew, a young officer, spoke nervously. Admiral, if we do not act soon, the humans may grow more confident. They have already begun preparing their defenses. Zarak considered the officer's words for a moment. Patience, he said firmly. We must wait. They will realize their mistakes soon enough. No species can stand against the might of the Galactic Empire. But not all of Zarak's officers shared his view. Some, especially those with more experience dealing with unknown species, were beginning to worry. The humans, they believed, were not like the other races they had encountered. They had shown resilience, and that was something the Empire rarely saw. Some officers whispered that the humans might even have the potential to be a threat. If they truly believed in their ability to resist, there was no telling what they could do. Back on Earth, the first signs of trouble came sooner than expected. The Galactic Empire's communications began to intensify, becoming more frequent and urgent. Earth's leaders received another message from Admiral Zarak, this time demanding a response. You are wasting time, the message said. If you continue to refuse, we will be forced to act. Your world will not be spared if you do not comply. Consider this your final warning. It was a threat, but it did not faze Earth's leaders. They had already made their decision. President Martinez addressed the world once again, her voice broadcast across all media channels. "We will not be intimidated," she declared. "We will not bow to any force, no matter how powerful. Earth stands firm. Our resolve is unbreakable." The people of Earth, already nervous and uncertain, found strength in her words. There was fear, yes, but there was also a growing sense of determination. This was their home, their planet, and they would defend it. In space, the Empire's fleet shifted slightly, moving closer to Earth's orbit. The tension was palpable. Earth's military satellites tracked the ships closely, while scientists continued to study the alien technology. They had to find a way to counter the Empire's overwhelming firepower. No one knew exactly what Earth was up against, but one thing was certain: they had to be ready. As the Galactic Empire prepared to make its next move, Earth's leaders knew that the time for talking had passed. The standoff had begun, and it would only end when one side broke. Would the humans hold their ground, or would the Galactic Empire show them the true meaning of power? The answer was still unknown, but one thing was clear: Earth was not backing down, and the Galactic Empire would soon find out that humanity's spirit could not be easily crushed. The battle for Earth was just beginning. The days following Earth's refusal to the Galactic Empire were filled with anxiety, but also with preparation. The people of Earth had made it clear they would not surrender. With every passing moment, the tension grew thicker, and the eyes of the world were fixed on the skies. The Galactic Empire's fleet still hovered above the planet, silent but ever-present, like a storm waiting to break. On the ground, things were no different. Earth's military forces were on full alert. General Marcus Hawk stood at the command center, surrounded by his team of strategists and advisors. The room was filled with activity, the hum of machines and constant chatter as they prepared for whatever the Empire might throw at them. "General," one of his officers spoke, a young woman named Lieutenant Mira Sanchez. "Our satellites have detected movement. The Empire is making small adjustments to their fleet. It seems like they're preparing to advance." Marcus nodded grimly. "They're testing our defenses. We need to be ready for anything. Every system, every weapon we have must be at full readiness." Around the room, officers and engineers scrambled to double-check their equipment. They had limited resources, and while they were making progress, it was clear they weren't at the same level as the Galactic Empire. But humanity had never been one to back down from a challenge. Their greatest strength was their ability to adapt, to think on their feet, and come up with creative solutions. As the hours passed, the Galactic Empire's fleet began to move once more. Slowly, like a predator closing in on its prey, the ships shifted into position. Drawing closer to Earth's atmosphere, they were preparing to land, or so it seemed. However, what came next surprised everyone. The ships didn't land. Instead, they fired a warning shot. A bright beam of energy shot out from the lead ship and impacted Earth's atmosphere with a flash that lit up the sky. The shockwave rattled windows across the globe, sending ripples of fear and confusion through the people below. It wasn't a destructive blast. It wasn't meant to harm, but the message was clear. The Empire was not playing games. This was their warning. They had the power to destroy, and they weren't afraid to use it. "We need to respond," General Hawk said, his voice steady, though his mind raced with the possibilities. "If we let them test us, it could lead to something much worse." But the question remained: how could Earth fight back against a force so much stronger than anything they had ever seen? They had no idea what kind of weaponry the Empire possessed or how advanced their technology was. All they had were their wits and their determination. At that moment, President Elena Martinez was briefed on the situation. Standing in the war room with her advisors, she could feel the weight of the world's gaze on her. The people of Earth were counting on her to make the right decision. She looked at the holographic displays showing the alien fleet, then turned to her military leaders. "How much time do we have before they make another move?" she asked, her voice calm but resolute. "We don't know," General Hawk replied. "The Empire is unpredictable. But if they fired a warning shot, it means they're testing us. They want us to back down. They want us to show weakness." Alina took a deep breath. She knew the Empire was expecting Earth to cower, to beg for peace, but she wasn't about to give in. "We won't show them weakness. We'll fight with everything we have. Make it clear to them that we won't surrender." Across the globe, humanity's military forces readied themselves. While Earth didn't have the advanced weapons the Galactic Empire possessed, they were determined to give everything they had. Their strongest asset was not their technology, but their resolve. Meanwhile, Admiral Zarak watched from his command ship. The warning shot had been fired, and now the ball was in Earth's court. He didn't expect them to back down so easily, but he had hoped that their fear would be enough to make them reconsider. "They are stronger than we anticipated," Zarak muttered to himself. "But they will learn. No species can withstand the might of the Empire forever." Back on Earth, President Martinez's words echoed in the minds of millions. The world was united. The message was clear. They would stand their ground, no matter the cost. The first clash wasn't about weapons or firepower. It was about willpower. Earth had shown the Empire that it wasn't a weak, defenseless planet. The Galactic Empire may have had more advanced technology, but Earth had something far stronger. A united people who would fight for their planet. As the hours ticked by, everyone waited for the next move. Would the Galactic Empire strike with full force, or would they hesitate, unsure of Earth's strength? Would Earth be able to find a way to stand up to the Empire's overwhelming power? One thing was certain. The standoff was far from over. And as the world held its breath, Earth prepared for whatever came next. The fight for their survival had just begun, and Earth was not about to let go of its home without a fight. The days after the warning shot from the Galactic Empire were filled with preparation. Earth's leaders knew the fight was coming. There was no more room for negotiation or peace talks. The Empire had made its intentions clear. Now, humanity had no choice but to prepare for war. General Marcus Hawk and his team worked tirelessly in Earth's command center, analyzing every possible strategy and scenario. Despite the overwhelming strength of the Empire's fleet, they had one advantage: their sheer determination. Humans had fought countless battles throughout history and survived against all odds. This time would be no different. "We need to find their weak spots," General Hawk said, his voice sharp with determination. "We know they have superior technology, but there has to be something we can use against them." Lieutenant Mira Sanchez, his most trusted officer, worked beside him. "We're analyzing their ship designs, General. But it's hard to get any real data. Their shields are nearly impenetrable, and their weapons are much more advanced than ours." Hawk rubbed his chin, deep in thought. "We can't let that stop us. We need to use what we have. Earth has always been at a disadvantage, but we've never lost a fight just because the odds were against us." Meanwhile, President Alina Martinez addressed the people of Earth in a global broadcast. Her voice rang out across the world, reassuring everyone that humanity would stand together, no matter what came next. "Today, we face an enemy that seems unstoppable. But I want to remind you all of something. We are humans. We have faced overwhelming odds before, and we have always found a way to overcome them. This is our home, and we will protect it. Together, we will show the Galactic Empire that humanity will not be intimidated." The words of their leader were a beacon of hope for the people. Across the globe, families, soldiers, and citizens alike rallied to the cause. Earth's military continued to fortify defenses, while engineers and scientists worked on developing new technologies that could give them a fighting chance. The planet's unity was stronger than ever. In space, the Galactic Empire's fleet had not moved, but they were watching. Admiral Zarak stood at the helm of the flagship, his eyes narrowed as he observed the human preparations. The sight of Earth's resolve troubled him. He had expected Earth to cower after the warning shot. Instead, they had rallied. They were preparing to fight. Why haven't they surrendered? Zarek muttered to himself. They must realize the futility of resistance. An officer on the bridge spoke up. Admiral, we have received reports from the fleet. The humans are reinforcing their defenses and preparing new weapons. It seems they are preparing for a full-scale conflict. Zarek gritted his teeth. He had underestimated humanity's resolve. He had hoped to intimidate them into submission, but it was clear now that they were not afraid. They had shown courage, but that would not be enough. The Empire had dealt with defiant species before, and they had never failed to conquer them. Earth would be no different. We'll give them one more chance, Zarek said, his voice cold. I will send a final message. If they do not surrender by then, we will act swiftly. On Earth, the atmosphere was thick with anticipation. The people knew that the next few days could decide their fate. The military's preparations were nearly complete, but they were still unsure of how to counter the Empire's powerful weapons. The stakes were higher than ever, but humanity was determined to fight. General Hawk stood in front of a massive screen, watching as the final calculations for Earth's defense systems were completed. The engineers had developed a prototype weapon that could potentially disrupt the Empire's shields. It wasn't perfect, but it was the best they had. It would be their first line of defense. We have one shot at this, Hawk said, turning to Lieutenant Sanchez. If we can get past their shields, we might be able to land a blow that counts. But we have to hit them hard and fast. We cannot afford to waste time. Sanchez nodded. Understood, sir. We'll be ready. Meanwhile, President Martinez held another broadcast to speak directly to the people of Earth. Our military is prepared, she said. We may be outmatched, but we will not be outwilled. We fight not just for ourselves, but for the future of every generation to come. Earth will stand strong, and we will defend our home with everything we have. Her words filled the hearts of Earth's people with a new sense of pride and determination. No longer were they the helpless species cowering before an unbeatable force. They were warriors, united in their purpose to protect their world. As the final preparations were made, Earth's leaders and military forces awaited the Empire's next move. Would the Galactic Empire deliver its final ultimatum, or would Earth's determination force them to rethink their strategy? The next few days would decide the future of humanity, and it would not go down without a fight. The clash between Earth and the Galactic Empire was coming, and no one knew how it would end. But one thing was certain. Humanity would not give up without a fight. The final days of preparation were intense. Earth's military had been working non-stop, refining their strategies and ensuring their weapons were in perfect working order. General Marcus Hawk stood before a large map, his eyes scanning over the positions of Earth's defenses and the approaching Empire fleet. The tension was thick in the air. Everyone knew that once the first shot was fired, there would be no turning back. All units are ready, Lieutenant Mira Sanchez reported. We've reinforced the shield generators, and our new weapons are calibrated. The Empire won't know what hit them. Hawk nodded. Good. Keep all lines of communication open, and make sure every soldier understands their role. This is it. This is where we stand together, as one. Around the world, humanity had united. The streets were filled with people showing their support for the military. Every nation, every community, had come together to face the Empire. People volunteered in droves, offering whatever skills they could to help in the fight. It was clear, Earth would not go down without a struggle. President Elena Martinez continued to inspire the world with her speeches. She stood firm, with an unwavering belief in humanity's ability to persevere. They may have the power to destroy us, she said in a public address, but they do not have the power to break us. Earth will fight back with everything it has, and we will win. But as the world prepared for war, the Galactic Empire was also making its final moves. Admiral Zarek stood aboard his flagship, watching the small blue planet that had dared to defy the Empire. The fleet loomed above Earth, vast and imposing, like a dark cloud ready to strike. Admiral, "The final communication is ready," an officer said. "Shall we send the ultimatum?" Zarek paused, staring at the planet below. The humans had shown courage, yes, but it was misplaced. They were not prepared to face the might of the Galactic Empire. He had offered them peace, and they had refused. Now, they would face the consequences. "Send it," Zarek ordered. "Make it clear that Earth has no choice but to surrender. We give them one last chance. If they don't submit, we will take action." The message was brief, cold, and commanding. The Empire's voice echoed across the globe, causing a ripple of fear among the people of Earth. "This is Admiral Zarek of the Galactic Empire. Earth has made its choice. You have been given a chance to avoid destruction. Surrender now, and we will allow you to live. Refuse, and your planet will be erased. You have been warned." The message resonated with a chilling finality. For a moment, the people of Earth stood in silence, uncertain of what would come next. But President Martinez, standing firm in her office, knew what had to be done. "We will not surrender," she declared, her voice steady. "We will stand strong, and we will fight back. Earth is not a place to be taken lightly. We are not a people who bow to threats. It is time to show them what humanity is made of." General Hawk and his team gathered in the command center, awaiting the Empire's next move. The countdown had begun. The Empire's ships had moved into position, and it was only a matter of time before they would strike. "We've tracked their movements," Lieutenant Sanchez said, pointing at the holographic display. "They're preparing to deploy their fleet into Earth's orbit. The first wave will likely target our major cities to weaken our resolve. But they won't expect the counterattack." Hawk's eyes narrowed. "We don't have time to waste. Prepare the weapons systems. We fire first. If we don't act now, we'll be waiting for them to destroy us." The tension was palpable as Earth's forces readied themselves. Soldiers took their positions and fighter jets were deployed. Everyone knew that the moment the Empire made its move, it would be all-out war. And then, as the minutes ticked down, the first blast came, not from the Empire, but from Earth. A powerful burst of energy shot into the sky, aimed directly at the flagship of the Galactic Empire. It was humanity's first strike, a bold move to show that Earth would not be intimidated. The blast hit the Empire's shields with a deafening crash, sending ripples through the ship's exterior. The Empire's fleet had not anticipated such an aggressive response. Admiral Zarek was taken aback for a moment, but only a moment. "Return fire," he barked, his voice cold and determined. "Show them the power of the Empire." Within seconds, the Empire's fleet retaliated. Beams of energy shot from their ships, hitting Earth's defenses with incredible force. The sky above the planet lit up with flashes of bright light as the two forces clashed. On the ground, General Hawk and his team watched the battle unfold. Earth's defenses held strong, but they knew it wouldn't last forever. The Empire's weapons were far more advanced. The first wave of attacks had proven that they could withstand some of the Empire's firepower, but they needed to do more. "We need to hit them harder," Hawk said, his voice resolute. "Every strike counts. If we can hold them off long enough, we might have a chance to turn the tide." The battle had begun. The Empire had made its move, but Earth was not backing down. The world watched in awe as the fight for survival continued, with each side determined to prove that they would not be easily defeated. Humanity had taken its first step toward victory, and with every passing moment, their resolve grew stronger. The battle raged on above Earth, a deadly dance of energy beams and explosive fire. Earth's forces were holding their own, but it was clear that they were outgunned. The Galactic Empire's ships were more advanced, their firepower far superior to anything humanity had. Yet, despite the odds, the people of Earth stood their ground, fighting with everything they had. General Marcus Hawk watched the holographic display in the command center, his eyes scanning the battlefield. The Empire had sent wave after wave of attacks, but the defenses held. Earth's military had developed a new energy shield that seemed to hold against the Empire's weapons, though not without strain. "We're holding, but barely," Lieutenant Mira Sanchez said, her voice tight with concern. "The Empire is pushing us back. Their firepower is too much for our defenses to absorb forever." Hawk's jaw clenched. He knew they couldn't keep this up much longer. The first wave of attacks had done significant damage, but Earth's defenses were still intact. For now. But they had one more secret weapon, something the Empire had never expected: Earth's resourcefulness. "We have one chance," Hawk said, his voice low but determined. "It's time to activate the new system." Sanchez raised an eyebrow. "The EMP weapon?" Hawk nodded. "It's a gamble, but it's our best shot. We can't win this fight in space, but we can knock out their shields for just long enough to hit them where it hurts. I'm willing to take that risk." In the war rooms, engineers had been working tirelessly to develop a weapon that could disrupt the Empire's shields, even if just for a short time. The weapon was an electromagnetic pulse, EMP, capable of temporarily disabling the advanced shielding technology the Empire used. It was a last-ditch effort, but it was humanity's only hope. "Activate the EMP," Hawk ordered. The engineers quickly responded, typing commands into their consoles. The weapon was designed to send a burst of energy through space, targeted directly at the fleet. If it worked, the Empire's ships would be temporarily vulnerable. It was a small window, but one that could make all the difference. In space, the battle continued. Admiral Zarak stood aboard his flagship, observing the chaos unfolding before him. His fleet was relentless, but he knew the humans had something up their sleeve. He had expected a fight, but not this kind of fight. They were tougher than he had anticipated. "Admiral," an officer said, "we've detected an anomaly. There's a strange energy signature coming from Earth." Zarek's eyes narrowed. "What do you mean? Is it a weapon?" "We believe so, sir. It's a pulse of energy aimed directly at our fleet." Zarek's heart skipped a beat. The humans were desperate, but it would not matter. No weapon they could develop would ever match the power of the Empire's shields. "Counter it. Now," Zarek barked. But it was too late. The EMP, launched from Earth's surface, traveled through space at unimaginable speeds. It hit the first line of the Empire's fleet with the force of a lightning strike, and for a brief moment, the shields protecting the ships flickered and failed. The Empire's fleet was stunned. The ships were left defenseless, vulnerable, and Earth's forces seized the opportunity. "Now, fire everything we've got," General Hawk shouted as the command center erupted with activity. Missiles, energy beams, and fighter jets all surged toward the Empire's fleet, catching them off guard. The first wave of attacks had done its job. The Empire's ships had been disabled just long enough for Earth's military to strike back with full force. The battle became a whirlwind of chaos. Earth's forces pushed forward, determined to take back control of the skies. The Empire's ships were scrambling, trying to repair their shields and regroup, but they were not fast enough. The humans had found a crack in the Empire's armor, and they were exploiting it to the fullest. Admiral Zarak paced furiously on the bridge of his flagship. The EMP had thrown his fleet into disarray, and the humans were pressing their advantage. But he was not ready to admit defeat. "Send in the reinforcements," Zarak ordered. "We will not lose to these insignificant creatures." But the damage had already been done. The Empire's reinforcements were still a distance away, and Earth's forces continued to press their advantage. It was a battle unlike any the Empire had faced before. The humans had proven something the Empire had not considered. That sheer determination, combined with clever strategy, could make up for a lack of technological superiority. On Earth's surface, the people watched the skies with bated breath. The war had reached a new phase. For the first time, humanity could see a glimmer of hope. The Empire was not invincible. It could be beaten. "We've done it," Lieutenant Sanchez said, a look of relief crossing her face. "We've hit them hard. Their ships are in disarray." Hawk looked at the display, a small smile tugging at the corner of his mouth. We've only just begun. They'll regroup, but we've shown them that we can fight, and we'll keep fighting until the last breath. The battle for Earth was far from over, but now humanity had a fighting chance. The tides of war had shifted, and the Empire, for the first time, was on the defensive. The sky above Earth had become a battleground, darkened by the clash between two vastly different forces. For days, the war between the Galactic Empire and humanity had raged on, and the people of Earth had fought with a fierce determination that had caught the Empire by surprise. The human resistance had taken the fight to space, showing the Empire that Earth would not bend to their will. General Marcus Hawk stood at the command center, his eyes locked on the holographic display of the battlefield. Earth's military had struck the Empire's fleet hard, taking advantage of the brief moment when the Empire's shields had failed. But the Empire was relentless. Their reinforcements were closing in, and the battle was far from over. "We can't let up," Hawk said, his voice steady but filled with determination. "They're regaining their strength. We have to push harder." Lieutenant Mira Sanchez nodded in agreement, scanning the data. "Their fleet is regrouping, but we've caused enough damage to make them rethink their strategy. It's not over yet." For the first time, the humans had gained a real advantage. The Empire's massive warships, once invincible in the eyes of Earth's defenders, were now vulnerable. Earth's weapons, while not as advanced, had proven to be more than a match for the Empire's arrogance. The tides of the war had shifted, but Earth still had to defend its position. "General," a voice called out from the communications console, "the President wants to address the world." Hawk turned to face the screen. President Elena Martinez appeared, her image projected across the room. Her face was calm, but her eyes were filled with a fierce resolve. She stood as a symbol of unity for all of humanity, a beacon of hope in the darkest of times. "We have fought with all we have," President Martinez began, "and we have shown the Empire that we will never surrender. The battle has been hard, but we are still standing. Our defenses are holding, and we are pushing them back. This is not the end. This is the beginning of our victory." Her words were met with a wave of cheers from the people of Earth, from every corner of the world. Humanity had faced down an overwhelming threat, and now, with every passing moment, they were proving that their spirit was stronger than any weapon the Empire could wield. "We are united," President Martinez continued, her voice strong. "We are resilient, and we will not let the Empire take our home. This is our world, and we will defend it to the last breath." The message echoed across the planet, giving hope to every soldier, every civilian, and every fighter standing on the front lines. Earth's victory seemed possible, but the war was far from over. Back in space, Admiral Zarak stood before the vast window of his flagship, watching Earth's defenders rally together. His fleet was in disarray, and his reinforcements had been delayed. The humans had proven far more resilient than he had expected. "Admiral, we've lost contact with several of our ships," an officer reported. "Their weapons have been damaged. Some of the fleet has already retreated." Zarak clenched his fists, a feeling of frustration bubbling within him. "This should not be happening. We are the Galactic Empire. How can these primitives resist us?" He had underestimated the humans. Their unity, their determination, had made them stronger than any enemy he had faced. Earth's forces were using every opportunity to push back, exploiting the slightest weakness. The Empire's advanced technology had been a great advantage, but it was not invincible. "They won't last much longer," Zarak muttered to himself. "We will crush them." But even as he spoke those words, he knew the battle was slipping away from him. The humans had fought harder than he ever imagined, and their will to survive was unbreakable. On Earth, General Hawk and his team watched as the Empire's fleet began to falter. The Empire's ships were retreating, and Earth's forces were pushing forward. The odds were still stacked against them, but now the momentum was on their side. "Look at this," Lieutenant Sanchez said, her eyes wide. "The Empire is pulling back. They can't keep up with us. Hawk felt a surge of hope rise within him. We've done it. We've turned the tide. We're not just holding them off. We're driving them away. The war was not over, but the Empire's strength was waning. Humanity had fought with everything it had, and now the world was beginning to feel the weight of victory. Earth's military was no longer playing defense. They were attacking, taking back what was rightfully theirs. With every passing moment, the humans showed that they would never be enslaved. The Empire had underestimated their resolve. And now, as the last of the Empire's fleet retreated into the stars, Earth's victory seemed inevitable. The skies cleared as the last of the Empire's ships disappeared into the distance. The battle had ended. Earth had won. "We did it," General Hawk said, his voice filled with awe. "We really did it." The people of Earth erupted in celebration. The streets were filled with cheers, laughter, and tears of joy. Humanity had faced the might of the Galactic Empire and come out victorious. The Empire had underestimated them, but humanity's resilience, ingenuity, and determination had proven stronger than any weapon. President Martinez's voice echoed across the world once again. "This is our victory. We have shown the universe that Earth will not be conquered. We have stood together, and we have won." Earth had faced the ultimate test and come out stronger. The victory was not just over the Empire. It was a victory for all of humanity. And as the celebrations continued, Earth's people knew that they had proven something far more important, that no matter how impossible the odds, they would never back down.